The only thing I can say about Oscar De La Hoya is he's got so much pain inside his heart. My thoughts and feelings are with him every single day.
If there's anyone who is consistently critical of Eddie Hearn, it's Oscar De La Hoya. Just a few hours ago, Regis Prograis lost to Jack Catterall, and as expected, De La Hoya was quick to criticize Hearn. He believes that Eddie Hearn doesn't know how to do his job. Although he suggests that Hearn could turn things around, it's clear that De La Hoya isn't optimistic. The feud between Oscar De La Hoya and Eddie Hearn has escalated even further due to Regis Prograis' recent loss to Jack Catterall. The fight, held in Manchester, did not go as planned for Prograis. After being knocked down twice in the 9th round, Prograis ultimately lost in a lopsided decision, with Catterall taking the win. This result gave De La Hoya more ammunition to criticize Hearn's matchmaking and reignite their long-standing rivalry.
The segment of the week, where I pretend I'm really happy, but I'm burning inside.
And here we are with De La Hoya tweeting that Hearn has ruined Prograis' career. In boxing, criticism from one promoter to another is practically tradition, but Oscar took it to the next level. De La Hoya jumped on social media almost immediately after the fight, essentially saying, "Hey, if Prograis had been with Golden Boy, none of this would have happened." According to him, Hearn's matchmaking was a disaster, and the reason Prograis lost in such an ugly way. Hearn, however, was not about to take that kind of hit to his reputation without clapping back.
Sir, can you say one nice thing about all these promoters? Eddie Hearn.
One nice thing about Eddie Hearn, yeah, he's trying.
In the aftermath of Regis Prograis' recent loss to Jack Catterall, the ongoing rivalry between boxing promoters Oscar De La Hoya and Eddie Hearn has reached new heights. This latest bout, which saw Prograis knocked down twice in the 9th round and ultimately losing in a lopsided decision, provided De La Hoya with fresh ammunition to criticize Hearn's handling of fighters under his Matchroom boxing banner. The fight took place in Manchester and did not go as planned for Prograis. From the outset, he seemed unsteady, and Catterall capitalized on this, delivering a performance that saw him take home the win decisively. Prograis' loss sparked immediate reactions, particularly from De La Hoya, who took to social media to voice his disapproval. In a series of tweets, De La Hoya claimed that Hearn had effectively ruined Prograis' career, suggesting that if Prograis had been with Golden Boy Promotions, none of this would have happened. De La Hoya's criticism didn't stop at just blaming Hearn for Prograis' loss. He took it a step further, attacking Hearn's overall matchmaking abilities. If Prograis had been with Golden Boy, this disaster wouldn't have happened, De La Hoya tweeted. He accused Hearn of poor decision-making and implied that the loss was a direct result of Hearn's incompetence. According to De La Hoya, the choice to fight Catterall in Manchester was a significant factor in Prograis' defeat, arguing that it was a bad call to begin with. Not one to back down, Eddie Hearn addressed De La Hoya's jabs head-on during the post-fight press conference. With a humorous tone, Hearn remarked, "I send my thoughts and feelings to Oscar every day. He's clearly in pain." He then went on to defend his decisions, stating that Prograis had made an absolute fortune from his fights under Matchroom, including the latest one against Catterall. Hearn clarified that the decision to fight Catterall in Manchester wasn't forced on Prograis. It was something the fighter himself wanted. He rolled the dice, but he did it for himself, Hearn said, emphasizing that Prograis, a former world champion who is now 35, knew exactly what he was getting into and was willing to take the risk. The rivalry between De La Hoya and Hearn has been simmering for quite some time. A significant source of tension stems from the fact that Canelo Alvarez, one of boxing's biggest stars, moved from De La Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions to Hearn's Matchroom. Ever since this high-profile switch, De La Hoya has been relentless in criticizing Hearn whenever the opportunity arises. Social media has played a significant role in the ongoing feud. De La Hoya is quick to take to platforms like Twitter to voice his opinions, often with sharp criticism aimed directly at Hearn. Following Prograis' loss, De La Hoya tweeted about the so-called Matchroom curse, suggesting that fighters under Hearn's banner have a tendency to lose or get injured. He pointed to Prograis' performance as further evidence of this supposed curse. Hearn, however, dismissed these accusations, arguing that the highs and lows of boxing are part of the sport. He reminded fans that boxing is a high-stakes endeavor where top fighters take significant risks. According to Hearn, Prograis' losses don't mean his career was mishandled. Instead, they reflect the reality of elite-level competition. Hearn also pointed out that Prograis' first fight under Matchroom had been a win. He fought Danielito Zorrilla back in June and came out on top. However, his subsequent fight against Devin Haney was a different story, resulting in a loss and the relinquishing of his WBA title. After the fight with Catterall, Prograis hinted at possible retirement, saying he might leave boxing to the younger fighters. At 35 years old, with a career full of tough battles, Prograis' contemplation of retirement adds another layer to the narrative. This also gives De La Hoya more fuel for his argument. He can now claim that Prograis, a talented fighter, is on the verge of retirement after 2 straight losses under Hearn's watch. De La Hoya might argue that with Golden Boy, Prograis could have had a gentler path that didn't wear him out so quickly. The feud between De La Hoya and Hearn is not just a personal vendetta. It has broader implications for the sport of boxing. Promoters play a crucial role in shaping fighters' careers, and their public disagreements can influence fans' perceptions and fighters' decisions. De La Hoya's public attacks on Hearn highlight the competitive nature of boxing promotion and the stakes involved in managing top-tier fighters. Another layer to the tension between De La Hoya and Hearn is the shadow of Floyd Mayweather. Ford's old tensions with Mayweather have had more of an impact on Davis than many realized. Ford's connection to Mayweather has always been a mixed bag, full of respect, but also competition and lingering frustrations. Ford has openly admired Mayweather's career, but the shadow that Mayweather cast over Davis's journey is a point of unresolved tension between Ford and Davis. Davis, determined to make his own path in boxing, grew frustrated with Ford's occasional tendency to bring up Mayweather as a comparison. Davis didn't want Mayweather's legacy to define his own career, and Ford's inability to move past Mayweather's influence may have been one of the final straws. Despite the criticism, Hearn remains one of the most influential promoters in boxing. He continues to manage a stable of fighters, some of whom have achieved significant success under his guidance. Hearn's defense of his promotional decisions and his fighters' performances highlights his commitment to the sport and his fighters. As for Prograis, his future remains uncertain. Whether he chooses to retire or continue fighting, his career under Hearn's management will be scrutinized and debated by fans and critics alike. The ongoing feud between Oscar De La Hoya and Eddie Hearn encapsulates the drama and high stakes of the boxing world. Their public exchanges, fueled by social media and high-profile fights, reveal the intense competition among promoters and the pressures they face in managing fighters' careers. As Prograis' situation demonstrates, the decisions made by promoters can have significant impacts on fighters' careers.